Hello everybody, Mariner here, and welcome to the last matchup show on Net That Hall for this season. I'm really pleased. No disrespect, I'm ready for a break. But I've got two other guys with me who are still fit and firing and, well, crazy. They're here again. It's Gabe and it's Surya. How are you doing, boys?
Yeah, doing great, Chris. I think the last Net That Hall episode for the season. I think you deserve a break more than anyone. But then, yeah, it's gonna be a fun episode. A lot of stuff planned, and yeah, nice being back in 2 weeks' notice. Yeah, yes. Gabe is looking fresh as well for another early morning show. Yeah.
Early morning show, not too early. It's nice here. Coffee's good. Vibe is good. Last show, I'm really looking forward to this. Mariner's in a mood. This is going to be fun.
I am actually. I am in a bad mood. I've been working all night. We nearly had to cancel the show, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was getting close at one stage. Hopefully, I won't have to go off. If I go quiet, I'll transfer the screen across to you, Gabe, and let you just do your thing whilst I have to take a phone call. I've got some disasters going on at work. But anyway, not to worry. Right, let's just get these formalities out of the way. As I said, we're Net That Hall. Smash that like button. As many smashes as you can, please, because the more smashes you give it, the better we do on YouTube. And in fact, I've even heard some pods are threatening people that they won't answer questions because they've... So what's going on here? I don't think we're quite going there, but I'll tell you what, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that if you've enjoyed what we've done this year. Hit that like button. All right, guys, and subscribe. We're at nearly 450 subscribers, so just over 450 subscribers. So thank you very much for that. I think there's not a lot else to do apart from dive in. But the first thing to do is we've got a little bit of an announcement to make. Again, so it's always nice to make announcements. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the screen and I'm going to move across, and I'm going to say we have now. Surya and the Net That Hall team have now agreed a strategic partnership. That sounds professional, doesn't it? With each other. So, I mean, the general thing, and I'll let you come in, Surya, in a second, but from my perspective, the idea is it's mutual advertising. I think that's what we've agreed to do, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So it's always been a pleasure being here and exchanging help, and of course, Gabe and Nima sit as writers and editors on All About FPL. It always made sense, and then it's going to be great. Looking forward to the preseason and how we can build actually. So you could see more of Net That Hall on All About FPL blogs, and the same way you could see more of All About FPL on the show and as well as in the audio version of the podcast as well. So it's going to be very interesting, and of course, Gabe termed us as FPL Robin Hood, so that we are kind of Robin Hoods. So we help each other, we help the community, and we don't take much in return. But then that's the love of the community that keeps us going. So it's a very good partnership to get kicked along. So I would say we were in a partnership before, but then it is just being mutually published.
Yeah, I think it's nice to formalize it, and I think, you know, again, what we've thought about is how can we advertise you. So I'm going to show people how we're going to advertise you now. So just stand by. This is Mariner being at work again. If it's going to work.
Hopefully it works.
Are you craving more FPL content? Then look no further than allaboutfpl.com. Head over there for weekly articles from some of the top content creators on the planet. So what are you waiting for? Head over to allaboutfpl.com, the website for all your FPL needs.
Woohoo! Nice, man.
I think to be honest, even I wouldn't have done a better job than Chris in this advert. So I think you made my job easier.
Well, I did it at
and then you did it for free.
So the wife was
and then you
moaning
did it for free.
Yeah, the wife was moaning at me because I finished work at dinner time at lunch. Went ate my food, walked straight back to the computer, did this, and carried on working until the rest of the afternoon. Anyway, there we go. So no, great news. I'm sure, Gabe, you know, I know you're very happy about it as well. I think it's just such a good thing that we've got you. Should we say a lot more? It's a lot more joined together what we're doing going forwards, I think.
Well, it's nice. It's nice to formalize it and to cement it because we already had a partnership, right? We've been working together for months now. So let's leverage each other's strengths and make it formal And it really is. The thing is, we believe in what Surya does at allaboutfpl.com, and we have aligned visions as the FPL. We were saying right before we started here how nothing good in life is free. And then we revisited that. We're like, well, you know what? Net That Hall is free, and allaboutfpl.com is free. So happy to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Anyway, we've been talking for nearly 10 minutes, so we need to. Well, it's not actually. I'm looking at the wrong clock now. 5 minutes. Oh God, what's good? This is going to be a disaster. I've done well actually. I haven't sworn yet. In the off camera, I swore about 50 times. But anyway, let's crack on, boys. So the first thing we're going to look at is, because we didn't do a compass show again, is we're going to do similar to last week. I'm going to have a quick look at the review of the game week from the perspective of the fixture difficulties, and also the predictions that Nima and I do on a week-to-week basis. So let's start at the top with Manchester United against Fulham. Surya, care to comment about a Bruno Fernandes assist?
I'm a United fan. I'm a big time Bruno fan. It is a no assist for me. So the goal shouldn't have stood. But then FPL and Premier League did their job swiftly. I think everything from Outtro till SofaScore till OneFootball changed from David De Gea assist to Bruno assist in just a matter of few minutes. And then, of course, that was given. He never intended to touch it. So if it wasn't, then it was an offside. But then you know how things work in the Premier League. So we'll have to sit and mourn for another 2-3 minutes now. Nothing else that you could do. Yeah.
Well, I know how things happen at FPL Towers for sure.
yeah, that's what I say.
I didn't realize FPL Towers had such sway where they would change Opta stats, and they got some power in the towers.
And of course, it pissed me off because I didn't own him.
The rage is because even I sold him for Maris, so that has to do the split,
Yeah, I mean, looking at the matchup as it happened, clearly Manchester United were strong favourites, really, and Fulham spoiled the party. And particularly, I'm quite sure they ruined my party, as in they ruined Luke Shaw again. I mean, he can't get a return, at all at the moment. And it's just my luck. He's probably not even going to play this week. Is he a sell, Gabe?
Yeah. So most United fans that I've spoken to, they none of them believe Luke Shaw will start at the weekend. So he's. I mean, but here's the thing: is he is a. I would say he's not a sell because he's a defender, and it's the last game week. So if you have three defenders, roll with your three defenders. Luke Shaw is not one of them, obviously, because he won't play. But I would save your transfers for attacking players. Upside.
Oh, don't! I've got Sice and I've got Sice and Tosin. I might play Tosin, by the way.
Yeah, you're gonna have to play Tosin.
I might play. I'll tell you what. I might even start Areola above Martinez as a differential. There you go.
Oh wow, that's big.
Clean sheet odds. Fulham have a better clean sheet prediction than Villa.
Fair enough.
Yeah, of course. No chance for a Villa clean sheet. Yeah, but then he's just 4 away from being the highest ever scoring goalkeeper.
I'm on the beach, mate. Who cares? There comes the hats again. Right. Okay. So anyway, that's that one. So it ended up 1-1. Fulham spoiled the party in front of fans at Old Trafford, which again was nice to see. And let's have a very quick talk about fans in the ground. Wasn't it nice to hear abuse from the fans rather than from the players?
Yeah. It was still an epic game as well. Yeah.
Although one there was one bit of foul language picked up by a certain Harry Kane, but we'll come on to that a bit later.
Oh, great.
Next one, Southampton against Leeds. This was a really even matchup, actually, given the numbers. Southampton and Leeds both around 3 attack, and around Southampton a bit worse with respect to defence over Leeds, but not, in the 4s. So you'd have expected goals possibly on both sides. Leeds won 2-0. Leeds are the real deal for the end of the season, boys, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think Leeds are really showing kind of their personality, and their personality extended by a Loco Bielsa, right?
Yeah.
Because as teams go on the beach, Leeds are like working overtime. It's actually really refreshing to see, especially as FPL managers.
They've got a bucket of pina coladas, right? Bielsa's bucket's full of pina coladas. Well, it's not because it's upside down, but you know what I mean. Are we looking?
I think they're back.
Sorry, I'm going to come to you on this one. Are we looking at treble Leeds this week?
Yeah, most certainly. They're back the back in front of their fans after a very long time in the Premier League. I think I just found a crazy start on Athletic. They made the most number of sprints in the Premier League this season by a very, very far margin. In fact, I was looking at the graph and I was searching for Leeds, and then they are on top, and the rest of the clubs are at the bottom. So they're showing no signs of stopping. They will want to get those 3 points in front of their fans. And in fact, but one thing that came up to my notice is that it's the last game for Hernandez, and there's another one going out as well. So there might be minutes being plugged out. There might be rotations possible, but then a triple up is Dallas and Bamford. I think it's the same holy trinity. It's Dallas, Rafinha, and Bamford. I think that is no second thoughts about that. Harrison, of course, made his name on Gaming 36. But then I would say these three for me. It's going to be another easy win. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to go on to the actual matchups with Gabe when we look at the fixtures going forwards and the fixture difficulty. So at that stage, I think we've certainly got some A's or B's for 3 or 4 teams, Gabe, haven't we? So I think what we'll do is we'll save a lot of the discussion about the actual games going forwards till that section. But it's always good to have this. It's always good to bounce a few ideas off right at the start. The next one then, Brighton against Manchester City. Well, no one saw that one coming. Me and Nima certainly didn't. Brighton, 10 shots in the box, but no big chances. City only 7 shots in the box and 1 big chance. Cancelo red, harsh, in my opinion. I think that in itself booted all the fixture difficulty into the long grass, so I don't think you can take much out of this game, personally.
Yeah, I mean, a red card will change everything, right? We'll change the FDR, we'll change the prediction, we'll change everything. But I mean, and so will Pep Roulette, and that's something for us to keep in mind. If that back line is going to be changing, then maybe their defense is not a good investment.
No, and we said Cancelo's out. We've got Walker flagged as well.
Walker's flag is beautiful, actually. He twisted his ankle playing with his kids, so that's really nice.
But that's gone down like a lead welly. I bet Pep burnt his fingers with his giant cigar when he heard about
honestly,
that one.
if you're looking at excuses, that's got to be one of the best ones in the book. Like as a coach, I would be like, all right, man, you're playing with your kids. It's got to be forgiven. But I'm not as hardcore as Pep, I guess.
It might be interesting. We'll come on to this when we talk about the game. But I was just going to say, my immediate thought when I saw Walker was flagged and Cancelo out was there might be some life in Everton yet. We'll come on to that in a bit. Chelsea against Leicester, 2-1 to Chelsea. Again, a really even matchup according to what we were looking at. What struck me is the number of shots in the box Chelsea had. 15 shots in the box, 3 big chances, 2.51 XG. Leicester, on the other hand, 4 shots in the boxes, but 2 big chances. And Iniacho scored again, thank you, since I sold him. Surya, what's your view on Chelsea?
Yeah, of course, they are in the Champions League final for a reason, and they have been very good since Thomas Tuchel took over the team, and they look to continue. Villa, of course, won against Spurs, but then it was the battle of the worst. So I don't see Villa putting up a big fight against Chelsea from day after tomorrow. So it should be a comfortable win as they look to steal the Champions League spot. So I feel it's going to be a high scoring, but then it depends on who starts with Chelsea. Again, we don't know who Tuchel will be benching and starting, keeping in mind the CL finals is very soon. But then I don't see Arsenal are putting up a fight on this one, in spite of the fact that Grealish is back.
And even Werner managed to get 2 goals disallowed, right? I mean, it's the first time he's had the ball in the net for what seems like an eternity. I mean, I'm more shocked that he's managed to get 2 goals disallowed than anything. Sweng's just told me about that in the chat. I didn't know, but as I say, I've not watched much. I've been so busy.
That's what he does, right? If he scores, it's not a valid goal, and if he's onside or if it is something, then he's not going to score. And it's like the Werner curse, and part of that curse is honestly it's the way Chelsea's setting up and the way Werner plays, because turtleneck Timo. I call him turtleneck Timo. Clear header, wide open, goes off his arm. Come on, like what are you doing, Timo?
So has he got no neck? Like, is he like
he's like a real life version of somebody drawn by FPL Doodles.
Ah, right, okay. Well, I mean, just for the cricket fans, if anyone's old enough to know Gladstone Small, they used to play cricket for England. He was a bit like that. He was a fast bowler. If you want to look that up, cricketers, same thing. Right, next one, Everton Wolves. 1-0 to Everton. I predicted the score right, actually. It's the only thing I got right this week, I think, pretty much. But Everton, 9 shots in the box. No big chances, 0.88 XG. Wolves, 5 shots in the box, no big chances, 0.64 XG. Didn't watch the game, sounds boring. Next.
Yeah.
Anything to comment?
No. Get that game off the screen, please.
Good. Right. Let's move on. So, and I've just realised I've not been putting the scores up on. Oh, bloody hell, here we go. Let's try again. Let's try now. Newcastle against Sheffield United. Right, okay. Newcastle, 8 shots in the box, 3 big chances, 1.79 XG. Sheffield United, 6 shots in the box, 1 big chance, 0.54. The fixture difficulty suggested Newcastle will batter them. They didn't. Yeah. Sign of things to come. Are Sheffield United just battling a bit, finally, defensively?
No.
No. You'd be interested to look at the fixture difficulty.
There's a bunch of shots in the box. There's a bunch of big chances. Sheffield United are
basically
in the toilet.
Basically, Newcastle are shit. Then is that what you're saying? Apart from
this game was football blue balls. It's big chances. There are things happening, but nothing really happening.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. There's like something happening, but nothing really happening.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's an interesting way of looking at it. I mean, Willock, we nailed him, didn't we?
You were shouting him from every rooftop last game week, and look at that. I was so happy.
Yeah.
Great
show. It's nice to get something right for a change. I don't get it right with my own team because I never brought him in.
That's the curse of content creators.
Yeah, I tweeted out on Saturday morning after he scored, or Friday night on Gw38, and then of course I didn't bring him in, and then everyone who brought him in texted saying thanks for the advice. I saw it, but then I didn't do it. I got him Gareth fucking Bale for 1 point, and my hopes of top 10K just flew away. That's it. That's the curse of content creators. Yeah.
Right, Spurs and Villa. What's the fucking point, boys?
What's the fucking point?
That's worrying, right? Harry Kane mouthing, what's the fucking point?
Is it worrying?
I own Harry Kane. I'm really worried about him. I'm worried that he's just doesn't give a toss now.
What's changed? Like last week, things didn't change from last week to this week. It's just now it's becoming public. I don't know, and Spurs have been pretty low on the FDR for attack for a while now. We've just been like it's the narrative of Kane and the Golden Boot, Spurs, but they haven't been good, and it's shown. So I don't know. For me, that wasn't very surprising. I think they've been kind of in that mindset for quite some time. We'll see if Nuno Espírito Santo gets that job and turns it into the second Portugal team like he did Wolves. So Who knows? I think that Nuno at Spurs would be a good signing.
I mean, the numbers, Tottenham, 7 shots in the box, 1 big chance. Villa, 15 shots in the box, 1 big chance. I was listening to 1 or 2 comments from Spurs fans. They were fizzing with anger after that performance, particularly with Reguilon, who, quite frankly, I saw the most fantastic meme on Twitter where they've got a Spurs changing room or the Spurs training ground, and it was someone locked out. They said, Reguilon arriving for training tomorrow. It was locked out.
That was a rough one for the guy. Great finish.
Man. And they are definitely a complete no-go zone when it comes to defence, right?
Yeah.
Complete no-go zone. Right, next one. Crystal Palace 1, Arsenal 3. I think it was Siver, who is an Arsenal fan, actually said something like, well, if Arsenal can score 3 past Crystal Palace, what the hell is Liverpool going to do to them?
I'm surprised that Zima, it's got it spot on, yeah. You got his prediction spot on, yeah.
I mean, look, 9 shots in the box, Palace. 1 big chance. Arsenal, 4 shots, 3 big chances, right? And it looks like Palace have got more injury problems. I think Scott Dan's out now as well. I think they've just announced that tonight. So I think they could be in some difficulties this weekend. I'm not quite sure. And they'll come on to the next game now, Burnley against Liverpool. So here we go. All the hopes and dreams on FPL managers all around the world, and particularly in Singapore, were on this game. And I woke up and I was like, are you kidding me? Salah blank. I then put a note in a group that we're in on Twitter. I think it was on Telegram, I think it was. And I got a message back from Harry. He said, for FPL tips, and he said, Chris, don't watch the highlights. You'll get even more pissed off. So do you know what? I didn't. I didn't watch it. So, Gabe, can you give me a bit of a rundown on this game, can you?
I mean, it's what we've seen from Liverpool all season. They should be doing a lot, and they're not doing hardly anything. And it's shots on target. And I'll go over it when we come to the matchups. But Mane over the last 2 has had 14 shots, 3 on target. They just can't hit. They just can't hit the goal. And you see them. And I've done it when I've done some of the scouting reports for Mane. When I did the one on Mane, like in form versus out of form, he's overthinking absolutely everything. And that extra thought that he's giving to each play when he receives the ball, it's you don't have that kind of time at this level. So then he ends up with like hurrying the shot or something like that. It's Salah missed a sitter. It is hard to watch because we have such high hopes for these matches. Certainly if we captain some of these players, which we probably will in 38 as well. So probably not watch that game.
I think we will, but we'll come on to that in a minute. But yeah, didn't do Burnley a great deal of good in front of fans, did it? And
I will say I like what I'm seeing from Thiago Alcantara. I think is the team is learning how to play with him, and he's learning how to play with the team much better. He seems more involved. He's not running into the passing lanes anymore. He's opening up space. So I think that's promising development, and I still think Liverpool will get that top 4.
Yeah, I think they will as well. I think they will. And just finishing off then on the reviews, West Brom 1, West Ham 3. West Brom 6 shots in the box, 1 big chance, 1.14 XG. West Ham 16 shots in the box, 5 big chances, 3.4 XG. They're going for it by the looks of things.
Yeah, they're going.
Yeah.
They're going all in. They're going all in.
Did anyone see the alternative commentary on Twitter?
No.
Of the West Ham. You need to find it, guys. I retweeted it this morning. It's the sat nav man doing it. It's absolutely hilarious. You need to watch it. Before it's taken down, because it'll be taken down because of copyright, because they always take them down. But it's one of the funniest things I've seen for weeks. I was absolutely wetting myself laughing. No, I mean, look, West Brom in front of fans. Nice for them to get a game before they go down. Sam Allardyce going, said he knew he probably would. And now, last game of the season, Pereira's out as well. They've just announced that. Yeah. So there's another issue, right? Okay. Fans in the ground, boys. Fans in grounds. 4 home wins, 1 draw, 5 away wins.
If you look at, I mean, the home teams in game week 37 were shit teams. In game week 38, that changes. I mean, if we look, look at the home teams: Newcastle, Spurs, Palace, Burnley, West Brom.
Yeah,
all shit teams, all of them. Sorry, Baker, if you're in there.
So Brighton won, Chelsea won, Everton won. You wouldn't have thought Brighton were going to win anyway. And they probably wouldn't have won if it wasn't for that yellow, for that red card. Newcastle, like you said. Yeah, interesting.
So I don't think, but the fans did play, I think, a role in calls and refereeing calls, officiating calls and stuff like that. So that was really interesting, and that was good to see, because it felt like it's not just the fans supporting. The fans actually play a role in the game, in the result of the game, and they determine what happens on the field, and that kind of synergy, I think, is what we all missed. I love seeing that influence. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, with respect to the predictions, it was actually 10-all between Nima and I this week. So it goes to the wire, 4-3 to the Mariner with 1 week to go. Nima, I hope I expect your predictions. You need to get off that bloody treadmill, because that's what you're on. Get those predictions in. We should find a way to turn it up. We need to find some. We need to hack it and turn it up so he flies off the back of it. That'll make me laugh a lot. Right, okay. How did the algorithm do? Well, the team, if you remember, I was slagging the algorithm off last week for Everton. Yeah. And they kept a clean sheet, and the algorithm tripled on them. Wow. I don't. I'm still not convinced about the way it works its defensive stuff out. But no, look, I mean, it's done okay. 60 points the algorithm got.
Wow.
Not bad. And that, with a captain blank. So you look at it like
better than I did.
Yeah, Willock 11, Dean 8, Pickford 7, Alexander-Arnold 6, Coleman injured now 6, Mane 6, and then Rafinha, Salah, Harrison, Kane, and Wood. God, what horrendous! I mean, forwards were just awful this week, weren't they? Just awful. But anyway,
forwards and captains.
Apart from Firmino, we'll come on to him in a minute. So yeah, so that's where we were. So the algorithm's still doing all right. It's done 2 or 3 now. It's 2 or 3 pretty solid performances. I think I would say it's done. So let's see how it goes this week. We'll come on to that now, and that's what we're going to do now. So now we're going to look at game week 38. I got bored with putting houses on it for home and away. Couldn't be bothered. Got bored of putting people on the beach, because nearly everybody's on the beach now. So I thought, what I'll do now, I'll just put boxing gloves on. And the only teams I think are playing for anything now: Liverpool, Leicester, West Ham, and Chelsea. There we go. That's it from my perspective. Unless I've missed anyone, please tell me if I have. But from my perspective, Leeds. Well, they're only playing for Bielsa's bucket, right?
I think the Bielsa motivation is as big a factor as like a European spot motivation. It seems like to me, just based on the way they're playing.
I get that, and maybe that's why Leeds you can include for sure. But no, I mean, look, if you're talking about players who've got anything to play for, I've even took out. But I've left Chelsea in, I suppose. So, I mean, you could argue that maybe they're not playing for it. Maybe they're playing for a starting, but maybe you could say they may rest players for the Champions League final. I'm not sure. City probably will rest players, hence the reason I don't think they've got a lot to play for apart from probably next year. Because I think a lot of the players who will play the final will not be playing this week. So if we look at the fixture difficulty now, attack-wise, for the very last game of the season, Liverpool ranked top, Leicester second, Newcastle third, West Ham fourth, Spurs fifth. Right, okay. Liverpool 0.4, still miles ahead on the fixture difficulty from everybody else. A gaggle of teams around 2 with Leicester, Newcastle, West Ham, remember, not best, 7 worst. At the bottom, attack-wise, Wolves now at the bottom, 5.2. Sheffield United and Fulham 5.1, and then a gap to Everton, Brighton, and even Manchester City. We know that's false because they've been rotating like fury for the last 7 weeks. So that would basically just throw that in the bin. Defensively, Chelsea 1.8 at the top, Arsenal 2.3, Brighton still the real deal 2.4, Man City 2.7, Palace 3.2. What? It is correct. Fulham 5.4, West Brom 5.4, Newcastle 5.2, Liverpool 5.1, right down there at the bottom, and Sheffield United 4.8. So there we go. Anything which leaps out, I mean, apart from the obvious, the Crystal Palace, it's not a mistake. They have tightened up quite a bit. I think you could see that. I think the situation is that, you know, when you're playing a team like, even you're playing a team like Liverpool, they've still got a very, very positive fixture difficulty because Liverpool are just so good.
I spoke last week when we did matchups last week about Crystal Palace and the reason I was not so interested in Villa assets. And Crystal Palace has been kind of middle of the road in defensive stats. Other than big chances, they've conceded the second most or big chances. As of last week, they'd conceded the second most big chances over the last 6 with 16. But, you know, they have the 5th and 8th worst expected goals conceded and chances conceded, respectively. So it's bad. It's not great, but not the worst.
No, I think the interesting thing here is the 5th. But quite frankly, they could be just a tiny squeak and they could be 12th or be 10th because there's nothing in it. It just looks to me that defence is just falling away all over. Hence what you said about do not transfer a defender in this week. I think that's a great move because look at it. Defences are now definitely struggling. I reckon there's going to be a hatful of goals this weekend.
Yeah.
A hatful.
That's generally been the trend in the last game week for differences on the beach. So generally you see a lot of goals in the last game, and I see that repeating this season as well. Yeah. So definitely not worth enough to prioritize or defensive transfer.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. Right, okay, let's now go on to the actual fixtures.
You switching to beer over there, Mariner?
No, this is actually an alcohol-free one. I can't tell a lie. It's a Heineken Zero. I'm just thirsty.
I lost interest.
No, I drank a lot yesterday. It was a friend's birthday. Right. So here we go. Look. So here we go. We've got Gabe with the cat sat on his head on that side of the.
I can use the cat as a toupee.
Well, yeah, you could do actually. Never thought of that. Well, that's a good idea.
Cat hat.
So again, rather than going fixture by fixture, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about good matchups. Okay, and within those good matchups, there are some mini matchups which Gabe is now going to do his bit. So I'll move to your screen, Gabe, as we get to the first one. But we'll start with attack. The best matchup for attack this week is Newcastle against Fulham, 3.3. That's very positive indeed. What a shame Callum Wilson isn't fit because I would have captained him this week. I do not think Willock is a bad captaincy shout at all if you want to have some fun. just a bit of a shame that Wilson's not fit. The next one and the first matchup that you're going to look at, Gabe.
If I could say something really quickly on Newcastle, because I was very interested to bring Willock in this week. I didn't bring him in last week because I wanted to save my transfer to have 2 for this week. But what I will say, what kind of held me back from Newcastle players, despite the good matchup, is the fact that there are so many good teams playing at home this week that I want a team playing at home, and that isn't factored into this obviously because we've only had 1 game of home and away this season. So just something to consider. I myself prefer home teams for 38. So I won't be bringing a Newcastle player.
I think it's fair. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. And again, remember this fixture difficulty does not work on home and away because it won't, because we haven't had fans in the ground all season.
Right.
But anyway, so they've got, but on the face of it, they still have a fantastic matchup.
Yeah. If you have the player, then great. It's a great start.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Okay. Liverpool. Their matchup a few weeks ago was about +4. It's now 2.8. We've clearly got an issue. If we look at Liverpool's defence, however, they are not so good, right? They may well concede, in my view. The only thing is, I've just seen that Benteke is out now.
Benteke is out now. Eze is not there too.
No.
It's Zaha or nothing.
So Eze out, Benteke out, Zaha.
Never know. But Jordan Ayew.
It's a funny one. I can't quite get my head around whether Liverpool will keep a clean sheet or not. I think if Benteke was probably fit, I would probably say they probably wouldn't. I'm not quite sure now. I think that Liverpool have got a chance of cleaning here. I think now, even with that number.
I think if you're trying to get to double Liverpool or something like that, you're looking at Mane, you're looking at Firmino, and you have to jump through too many hoops to get there. I do think a double up on Trent and Robbo, given the injuries, I could work out.
Well, I think if you looked at that, you would say 2.8 and 1.4. Okay, so you half that, but you're basically halving that for them because you could consider their fixture difficulties in between. Okay, so there we go. So that's where you roughly be. So I think that a Trent Robbo double up would not be out of this question at all if you can get to. And Robbo obviously had a couple of returns last week as well, didn't he? But what we're going to concentrate on, Gabe, is we're going to concentrate on the attack. And specifically, you are going to have a look at Mane and Firmino, as I understand.
Yes.
So I'm just going to give you the floor and let you have a go.
All right. So this is what I did with matchups this week is I'm calling it a posse of little princes. And it's a bunch of players that we might be looking at, but that aren't, I'm looking at Mane and Firmino. I'm not looking at Salah. I'm not looking at the more popular players. Looking at the outside shouts because before game week 37, I was considering Firmino to bring in Firmino. I had exact money, and I didn't do it for various reasons. But this is what I saw when I'm comparing the two. So these are the these are the attacking stats over the last. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Over the last couple game weeks, and what I want to focus on is right here, this purple circle where it extends out. This is shots on target for Firmino, red out here, and then shots on target for Mane. So over the last 6, Mane has 14 shots and only 3 on target, whereas Firmino has 14 shots, same number, and 8 on target. And that's a big deal. That screams form to me. So this is kind of like backing up that idea that even as differentials we can look to different positions. The reason I didn't bring Firmino in is because I had United players in midfield, so I needed a midfielder. But this is something very encouraging for those that want to really go rogue and go for Firmino. I have some other. There we go. This is the passes in the final third. If we look at Mane, what I circled here, Mane's passes in the final third, he's involved in the play in and near the box. whereas the box is pretty empty for Firmino. He's kind of retreating and creating space in the box by dropping in to just outside the box in the midfield a little bit. So whereas the shots on target favor Firmino, the involvement in the gameplay favors Mane. So decision to be made. So then I went to, after looking at the shots on target, look at the XG shots here, and the XG shots favor Mane, all kind of in that penalty area. It's higher XG, it's bigger opportunities. But with those big opportunities, if you can't hit the target, I mean, the opportunities could be, spectacular with no goalie, but if you can't put it on frame, it's going to be a zero returns. Whereas Firmino is smaller opportunities, but he's able to put it on frame. So I think honestly, this matchup is a coin toss. You could go for either one. If you go for Mane, you're hoping he finds he finds some form. And if you're going for Firmino, you're hoping he finds the opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the heat maps on SofaScore myself, because and Firmino for me, like I say, he's playing that bit deeper. That was the thing which I noticed. I mean, if you look at it just in pure FPL perspective, Mane gets a point for a clean sheet and an extra point for a goal.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that might swing it in that favour, from my perspective. Surya, what's your view on Firmino and Mane?
Yeah, I think I would definitely go Mane too, because right things mentioned, Mane is coming back in form, and then he'll look to improve on what he's done so far in the last couple of weeks. And as you said, there's good value elsewhere in the forward line as well, with Bamford, even Iheanacho, then there's Antonio. There's a lot of good options that'll get you points in the forward line, but there's slightly lesser options. And now considering Bruno is in all likelihood be out of the game, so it makes sense to do a Bruno to Mane move, and I would definitely prefer Mane as my number one chance as a transfer.
Okay. I do like I'm not against the Firmino move, boys, though. I do, I do like it. It's one of those ones where, I think he could easily get a couple of returns. He's that type of player, isn't he? He is very patchy. Once he starts returning, he tends to keep returning. That's the one thing about Firmino, and then he'll go dry for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that one. The next one we're going to come to is Leeds against West Brom. Okay, so as we've just said, no Pereira, and I think that's an important point particularly for Dallas. I think that's a very, very positive move. They have a positive of 2.6 on attack, though. So now we are talking about Harrison, Raphinha, Bamford. Okay, we are not going to talk about Harrison. We spoke about him last week, but what we are going to do is we're going to speak about Bamford and Raphinha. Gabe.
So Raphinha was I really want to captain Raphinha this game week. I said it just a few days ago, and then I got into the matchups, and I saw some things that kind of like are kind of shooing me in a different direction. So I want to start with what Sam said on the FPL on the Banger Committee podcast at FPL Banger on Twitter. Their podcast is phenomenal, and they have such a different way of looking at things and explaining things. There's always something that I take from it and bring into matchups. And what Sam said was, look at their hauls, and Mariner in his metrics, he shows like what the haul percentage is for these players, and Bamford hauls way more than Raphinha does. So if you're gonna captain somebody, you might be looking for that kind of haul, and if you want to net that haul, it looks like Bamford is the way to go, just because of the frequency of his hauls here. And here it shows in this comparison. Obviously, our data here, when we do the comparisons, we're using fantasyfootballhub.co.uk. one of our go-to sites. And then when I do the heat maps, obviously we use fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. Again, collating all of our different resources to bring it to you, everyone, FPL Robinhood style. But if we look here, expected points, XG, big chances, shots in the box, shots on target, all favor Bamford. The number of shots favors Rafinha, and then that's important to note. But look, Rafinha has more shots, but 0 big chances. Look at the big chances here, and this is in the last 2 matches, by the way. So the reason I'm using the last 2 is because I usually use last 6 data from the last 6. But towards the end of the season, I think form is much more important than maybe earlier on in the season, and form, motivation, and just kind of the excitement of heading towards the end. So I kind of shortened the data set there.
I think
the
one thing which strikes me is, and interestingly enough, when I talk about obviously I've got this algorithm which I'm running, Rafinha's nowhere near it, whereas Bamford is. And I think that says something. That to me again suggests that Bamford is probably. I own Rafinha. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't. I don't know. I'd bring him in. Oddly enough, I think there's other differentials who I might go for rather than Rafinha this week. Oddly enough, but I really like Bamford, and I'm not. I could easily end up tripling up on Leeds this week, easily.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to triple up on Leeds. I'm personally tripled up on Leeds. I couldn't afford Dallas. I brought in Alioski for a hit 3 weeks ago, and he's been a great pick. I hope he starts. Just moving on here to passes received. Again, this is last 2 game weeks, which is why the heat map is somewhat empty. But Rafinha's receiving the ball pretty deep and wide, which is a little concerning. Now this is on par for most of the season, but you see the light purple here. This is where we want Rafinha more in an advanced position, and I think he will get there. But there's a concern. And the reason I'm showing the passes received heat map is because I want to follow that up with the matchup. And here's, whoops, wrong matchup. Sorry. I want to follow that up with the shot. Sorry, that's alphabetically. So despite receiving the passes in those areas, let me go back here. Rafinha receives it wide on the right, whereas Bamford receives it is receiving passes just outside the box. Then when we go to the shots heat map, Rafinha kind of takes Bamford's spot. If you go here, look where Bamford is here. I'm going to leave the cursor right on top of the box, and this spot is going to be taken by Rafinha. Boom, right here. And what happens to Bamford is he goes into the box. And that's what I like about Bamford. This, right around the 6. This is what's interesting to me. But that said, Rafinha right in this area is very dangerous as well. So I think he's a good asset. I don't think he's a good captain. That's who I wanted initially. My bias was full towards Rafinha. But after seeing the matchups, I'm shying away from that.
Very interesting.
And then the last thing I'll mention here is the XG. Rafinha has a bunch of shots up here. You see the small dots. Even Rafinha's shots in the box are not high XG. Bamford has much fewer shots, but that area around the 6 with the higher XG is what's very exciting for Bamford and his potential to haul. Yeah.
No, I like it. I like it. I'm really keen on Bamford. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
I know he's been he's received a bit of mirth from us this season on various things, but I think this week, I think we've got to be honest, I think he's an excellent pick.
I'll call him shit for till the day I die, but that doesn't mean that I won't recommend him every once in a while.
Sorry, I've just come into you. If you would pick three leads, would it be Dallas, Rafinha, and Bamford, or would you consider Harrison?
Yeah, if I would have considered 3, it would still be Rafinha, Bamford, and Dallas. But then for someone like me who's still not, I just have Dallas, and I look to get a Leeds player. But then I was already considering to prioritize Bamford over Rafinha, and then the matchup again proves the fact that you need to prioritize Bamford over Rafinha. And it's just that fact that there's another fact that Rafinha too has returned consistently, but then hasn't returned any big double-digit hauls. I think I think he has written one double-digit haul the whole season, and we all know Bamford could get us a double-digit haul easily. So that's that. And if it's chasing and in front of the fans at the Ellen Road, I think it's better to go Bamford over Raphinha. But then I would still stick my heart out and stay Raphinha over Harrison. So that's my take on it. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But we might get. I quite fancy Dallas. I tell you what, there's a little outside thing. I'm just wondering whether Dallas is a differential captain shout this week. Now Pereira's out.
You never know. If you get to goal, I think it's 15 points, and that's more than enough. More than that you can ask for from a captain choice of the last game of the season. Yeah.
Hey, up, we've got someone here. I'm just going to let somebody else into the chat, actually. Hello.
Hi, guys.
Yes.
We got Neighbour on his trip. I thought you were at home. I didn't realise you were in the gym.
I'm on a cool-down walk right now, so I thought I'd just start it and spread it out live on air.
Now if he falls, you'll be able to see him there.
So, exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to answer Nima's question. So Nima asked a question. He said he has to pick between Wood and Raphinha or Bamford and Foden / Willock / Ben Rama. Here's his question. There we go. Come on, Surya.
Perspective.
I'm going to put you straight on the
perspective.
Yeah,
So,
I think I noticed.
Calvert-Lewin.
Say again.
I was going to say I'm selling Calvert-Lewin, and I'm probably going to sell Zaha. So this is like a double move. I actually don't know whether it's Raphinha or Bamford. I have 2 Leeds defenders, so I can only buy 1 more Leeds player.
There we go. What do you reckon, Surya? Come on.
I think I do Bamford and Ben Rama. I think Ben Rama's 0.3% owned, and I think that could be a better 1 week punt than him. I think I was looking at Ben Rama as well. I think one of the guys wrote about him in the punts blog as well. I think he looks a pretty great chance to consider, and he's written 4 times in the last three weeks. So I think that's a good shot, Nima. If you're chasing, I think you can make up for some ranks back. Yeah, but then Bamford is definitely in. Yeah.
I like the Ben Rama shout. I really do. Yeah, I really do like it. So anyway, Nima, we'll let you get on, but it's nice to see you.
There's the comparison.
Nice to see you guys.
Oh, hang on, he's got the comparison. Do you want to stay on and watch his comparison?
Yeah, I will.
So the comparison is it's close, right? But it's shifting it slightly to Wood and Raphinha. So I don't know, but you know, Ben Rama just started kind of getting into kind of being an important part of the attack of West Ham. So I think the red in this graphic is on the rise. And given the matchup that we just showed, I think the blue could shrink a little bit. That's a really tough call. I think it looks to me that the upside is Bamford and Ben Rama. I think there's more upside there.
Cool.
Nima's running. He's excited.
I'll just have to take a photograph of this.
I'm going a lot quicker right now.
Faster. Oh God. Oh, brilliant.
There it is.
All right, buddy. Look after yourself. See you soon.
That was great.
I sent him a message in the WhatsApp chat saying, "Come and sweat on the channel." So anyway, let's get back to what we're saying. I thought give your voice a break for a second, Gabe. So we're done on Leeds, are we? So we're basically saying Bamford over Raphinha, Dallas not a outside shout for captaincy this week. If you fancy it,
I think it's a solid shout.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, right, let me try and just find out where I am on this bloody screen so I can see who the next one is. Right, okay. The next one we're going to have a very quick chat about is Burnley. I know you don't have a matchup on that, but I think we'll talk about this anyway, Gabe. They've got a very positive matchup against Sheffield United from the perspective of the fixture difficulty 2.1. But they are away at Sheffield United. Now I've been to Bramall Lane a few times as a Grimsby fan, and I'll tell you now, it's not the nicest of places to go as an away team. I think this might be. I don't know. I know there's been a number of people talking about Wood as a captaincy shout and things like that. I own Vidra. I think I'm benching Vidra for this reason. What's your perspective on Burnley? Gabe, first.
So Burnley playing Sheffield United. Sheffield United over the last 2 matches have conceded the most headed goal attempts, tied with Arsenal at 13. So in that sense, I like Chris Wood. Well, here's the thing. I like Chris Wood if they really rely on crossing him the ball and sending him long balls, and they've done that a couple times, but they've also been playing on the ground a lot. Burnley trying to beat Barcelona, as we've stated here many times. So, but the matchup is really nice for Chris Wood because of those the headed goal attempts.
Yeah, the headed chances is a very good point. I'm just making the point that you made earlier on, and I'm playing a bit devil's advocate here, because you mentioned about home teams playing at home, and it's stuck in my head a little bit. I always remember that, as I say, I remember going to Sheffield a few times, and I know they're not great, all right, but, I know what that crowd's like. I'll tell you now, they're super passionate. There's one thing I'll say about Sheffield United fans, they are very passionate. They will not want to lose. They will not want to lose. You never know.
If I were so these players, none of them have been in front of fans for over a year, and I think in these games when it's a bad team, it's even a bad team at home. I think their fans could even galvanize the opposition. Just if I were Chris Wood, I'd be like, you know what, Sheffield United, you guys are shit. And your fans want you to win, but I'm going to show your fans how shit you are. You belong in the championship. That would be my mentality if I were Chris Wood.
There is that. Look, we'll see. It's one of those ones though. Let's see what happens on Sunday. We've got the watch along. I think that's going to be a really interesting. That's going to be a really interesting one. Like I say, it could easily be Burnley could hammer them, or you never know. We could have a binary Brewster goal, could we? It's got to be on the pitch though. It's got to be on the pitch. But although what's happened, what's his name? Ashley Barnes has been caught drink driving, hasn't he? So I think he's in deep trouble now. So he might be out. Right. Come to the next matchup for you then, Gabe. And that is West Ham. They still have a pretty favourable matchup, 1.6 against Southampton. And they are at home. Although someone did say to me that West Ham play worse in front of fans at home than they do.
That's always the case, yeah.
so let's have a look at Lingard and Antonio. And I have to say, the one thing that stuck in my mind was Antonio saying, "I'm having penalties this week, mate." That was the thing which I quite enjoyed. Tell us about Lingard and Antonio, Gabe. You there? Well, we lost him.
I think he's frozen.
I think he's frozen. Well, shall we, Surya, whilst we get Gabe back, what's your perspective of Lingard and Antonio?
Yeah, Lingard is bound to regress in some time, and that is shown. And Antonio has filled in his spot very well, and I think Gabe is back. I don't know. You hear him?
I don't know. He's still frozen at the moment. Let's keep going whilst we unfreeze him.
Yeah, I think Antonio has come back in and he's done his job very well. And now considering the fact that he's in penalties, I think if you don't have him, I think it's a very, very essential transfer. And he did mention this fact that he had personal goals for this season and he's not reached that goal mark yet. And he just said, you never know with the last game on. Maybe he could go on crazy, score for like the time he did it against Norwich City. So he's definitely hungry for goals, and the fact that's the fact that says from the penalty call as well. So I think you'll be better off prioritizing Antonio or Lingard, and I think Gabe is back too.
Would you own both?
You asked me.
Would you consider owning both?
Owning both? No, I don't think. I sold Lingard and Gw38, so I'm not looking at bringing him in anytime soon. I just feel Antonio's well and good enough.
The reason I say is I own Lingard and I'm contemplating Antonio or Bamford, so that's one of my.
Yeah. Okay. I would still bring him in because irrespective of you have Lingard or not, I would bring Antonio in. But then it's not the other way around. If you have Antonio, I think you're well and very much covered over that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Gabe, you're back. Would you like to do your bit? We did it.
Sorry about that.
We did a little fill-in for you.
I saw that's good improvisation. Having some connectivity issues today, but hopefully things are sorted here. So this is an interesting comparison because they're like mirrors. On the one side, you have Antonio, who has all the red shaded on the right, and if you look at the radar map here on Fantasy Football Hub, kind of like the right side is goal opportunities and the left side is chance creation opportunities or assist opportunities. And true to form, we have up here expected points about the same. And if we go clockwise, we have Antonio with the XG, Lingard with almost no XG, Lingard with 0 big chances, shots in the box heavily favors Antonio. Shots on target, however, equal. So Antonio is not in the best finishing form with, let's see, his last seven shots, he only has 1 on target. That is a little bit of a concern, but look how many shots he's taken compared to Lingard here. And then we get and then touches in the box more for Antonio, of course. That's kind of obvious. If we go the other way, the XA heavily favors Lingard, big chances created favors Lingard, key passes Lingard, crosses Lingard, and so on. So Lingard is the creator, the more assist potential. Antonio has more goal potential. The comparison is hinting at Antonio here. Now, this will be supported. I don't know if you guys have any comments here on the stats and the comparison.
I'm struggling to see them, so I need to open them up. So a little bit.
Is it? Sorry.
That's all right. No, it's quite symmetrical, actually, isn't it?
It is. It's shockingly symmetrical.
Yeah.
Which shows like this symmetry actually shows to me it kind of says that they're a really good partnership.
Yeah.
They're two players to have together.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. That symmetry, the goals and the assists, to me, smacks of double returns.
And Moyes would be happy about this kind of setup. It means his team is well balanced and structured well. So this is the chances created heat map, and so you see kind of it's mostly on Lingard's side. Antonio just has the 1 from the right hand side, but I want to get to the touch heat map. One thing that surprised me is how wide Antonio is touching the ball here. Mikel Antonio he's almost like opening up the space for Benrahma, for Lingard, and he's pulling them wide. And interestingly, this is what Vardy has been doing for the past several weeks. Back when I did the scouting report on Iheanacho, I showed how Vardy was pulling wide and Iheanacho was filling that space. And so that's what's happening here, but that's not all Antonio is doing. He's such a good, smart player. He's played so many different positions. I think he really understands how a midfielder works, how a defender works, and what to do up top. So he has this. Oh
God, not again. Are you back? Gabe? Yeah, I think so.
I'm sorry about my connection there, guys. I don't know what.
Do you want to turn your camera off and just keep working on without the camera, just in case it's breaking up? Does that work? No, it's not. It's not making any difference at all. He's broke up again, hasn't he? So what we're saying, he's moving out to the wing. That's interesting. He's gone. He's disappeared completely now. We've lost his screen again. Right. Okay. Let's should we say let's do a little segue whilst Gabe rejoins, mate. Benrahma, he's been commented a couple of times now. Is he a great option?
I think you never know, but then you'll have to enjoy it while it lasts. I think he might score. Yeah, I think he's back. Yeah.
Yeah, here he comes. We're just talking about Benrahma whilst you were off.
Yeah, and Benrahma has emerged into a very interesting option. Again, differential and somewhat risky, but also the kind of like more around the goal scoring area that is similar to Antonio. But what I left on here was I like how Antonio goes wide, opens up space for some of the midfielders like Benrahma, like Lingard, but then he's also back in the box. We see this kind of yellow-green area in the 6 and by the penalty spot. And that's highly encouraging. That the fact that he has so many roles with the team is highly encouraging. And then I'll move. Let's see. There's the chance created. Here we go. And then so we have from chances created, obviously favoring Lingard, and then here's the XG shots, and it favors just kind of supports the stats. These are the heat maps that support the stats, right? The XG shots obviously favor Antonio, and then we look at the matchup. Look on the right-hand side where Southampton concede. Again, this is the past 2 matches, so they have 2 bright areas where they concede, and one is where Lingard operates, and the other one is where Antonio operates. So it's really nice for both. This green right here on the edge of the box corresponds. This green right here on the edge of the box corresponds with Lingard on this side, and this circle here for Antonio corresponds with this circle with Antonio. So going wide and then coming into the box there. It's really nice for both players.
Damn it! More dilemmas. This is confused. This is now really starting to grind my Bamford transfer. Oh no! Right. It's oh God. As if I got more stress. I mean, enough stress. We work without the stress about who to bring in this weekend. Anyway, thanks, Gabe. So that's excellent. And of course, West Ham at home. So we'll see how they do there. We've spoken about Benrahma. I think we're going to cover him again in a minute, actually, between me and you. He pops up somewhere else. We're finishing on a team who don't have a great fixture difficulty, but are clearly a great team because they're the champions. And that's Manchester City. And we are going to talk about which F we fancy. Do we fancy Ferran or do we fancy Foden? Gabe.
That's right. So we have Phil Foden versus Ferran Torres. And so I want to start with, I have 2 comparisons for these players because it's interesting what has developed recently. These are stats over the past 6. And you see how they're quite similar as far as the radar map here. Foden kind of does better than Ferran, and passes in the final third, touches in the box, shots in the box. However, the expected points, the expected goals, the big chances, the expected assists, so the XGI and big chances, they're all the same. They're quite similar. Key passes favors Foden a little bit, but again, very comparable. Now, this is interesting because this is over the last 6, but if we look at just the last 2 that we were talking about, and look how it changes from this to this, heavily favors Ferran Torres. And I'm going to try to say Ferran Torres as many times as possible, just to give the fans what they want. I see Surya laughing, and I'm assuming that's probably what he's laughing at here. So I'm going to keep going with that. So notice how Ferran Torres, obviously buoyed by the hat trick. Thank you, thank you, thank you everyone that told me that he would start. Sam Lee and late riser. And now his expected points really just eclipse. His expected points goes up to 5.64 compared to 4.36 from Foden. The XG goes up to 0.54 per match versus 0.2 for Foden. Big chances, 1 big chance per match, 0 for Foden over the last 2. Shots in the box still the same. Shots on target favors Ferran. And this is all, I brought Ferran in on my free hit, because I was hoping he would play the 9, and he did play the 9. And this is kind of the effect of that. Ferran Torres playing the 9 versus Foden playing wide is just the matchup favors Ferran Torres as far as the stats are concerned anyway. I want to look. Let's go here to their touch heat map. You see how Foden is much more involved in the play. Ferran, this is again over the last 2 matches. Foden moves around the field. He wants the ball more. He links the play much more. That's the kind of benefit from playing on the wing here. He has some freedom of movement. If we look at Torres, he has this heavy area on the right. What Ferran Torres did in the last couple matches or the last match, the one where I free hit, whatever the match that was, I forget now. He's switching with Gabriel Jesus. So Gabriel Jesus will line up at the 9, but you see the interplay between Torres and Jesus constantly. And Jesus is the one kind of playing that Vardy role of stretching the defense wide, and that's when Torres gets inside, and that's this area here. When Ferran Torres is here, Gabriel Jesus is here. Passes received, moving to the passes received heat map, very similar here. And we see kind of some light purple in the box. Foden, interestingly, has more of a box presence than Ferran, but when Ferran has a box presence, it's in a little bit more dangerous areas because he's more central. And then lastly, just comparing their shots. These are Foden's shots, 3 speculative low XG shots over the past 2, whereas Ferran is right in the middle, 6-yard box, penalty spot, much higher XG. I think the upside is there for Ferran Torres. But let's take a look at the matchup here against Everton. So there are 2 main areas of the pitch where Everton concede, and it's on the right side, in the right corner of their box, where Foden operates. That's this green right here. On the other side, the chances created heat map for City. This is Foden territory. This is Foden territory. And they also concede on the other side of the box, but outside the box. And this is Ferran territory, where Ferran and Gabriel Jesus switch. So both areas are actually areas of vulnerability for Everton. What I will add is with Seamus Coleman, or with I don't know, is Seamus Coleman going to play?
No, he's out.
He's out, right? That could create an opportunity for Foden to really exploit this area. So again, it's very close between these players. But if there's a potential for him to play the 9, I kind of like him a little bit more. And obviously, every City conversation comes with a huge caveat with Pep Roulette.
No, absolutely. Surya, your perspective. Obviously, Torres was sacrificed in the last game when Cancelo was sent off. We obviously the caveat is we don't know, but what's your gut telling you? Is he a great option for this week, or because I mean we're all searching for these differentials, right?
Yeah, and to be honest, I feel the lineup, City lineup on Game Week 36 is what they'll repeat this time. I think I found a very good analysis as well, like how City Guardiola tends to rest his players well ahead of a Champions League final, and it makes sense to see the likes of Mahrez and the co being rested for the Champions League final. And if that's the case, I think Ferran Torres should start against Everton at home. And there's the fact that he was sacrificed after Cancelo was sent off. So it adds more value to the fact that he will be given minutes and he'll be prioritized. And I see Foden playing a key role in the Champions League final. So if I was to pick a differential and looking at the matchup as well, I would say Torres. But then you never know what Pep is going to put us at. Yeah. Yes, I think Nehal was right. Anna Woodbury was the one who did that analysis. And she got around 90% in terms of predicting the 37 lineup as well. So I think that's where my thoughts came from.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a question for you. If obviously we're hoping for some team leagues. If we don't get a team league, I don't think I'll do a Greenwood to Torres move, but if we do, I'm almost certainly going to do that exact move.
Yeah, there's always a chance for that big haul, right? I think Gabe got in Torres after the leak, and I think he got him an Adric the last time he freed it. But then if that news comes in, I think it's a very good move to do. But then if it is not there, I think it's pretty much a very big risk, and I think Pep hasn't been rotating too, and you lose those points. And especially when you're watching 10 games at the same time, and your key transfer doesn't play, I think it'll put your mood off totally. So, but
of course we're streaming as well, so you'll see complete depression. But I mean, look, I'm looking at it because I mean, if not, I'll go into my forwards and have a bit of a tinker there.
That's
Cat's just popped in to say hello and about to knock a drink over as usual. Cool. All right. So that's that then. That's that then, Gabe. So I think that's we won't go through the others. I think they're the key ones to look at because now we want to quickly look at the algorithm. So I'll just adjust my screen again and get us moved across. And the algorithm this week has picked. It quite likes Brighton defence for all of a sudden, and it's gone for treble Brighton defence. I'm still not quite sure about that. Whether it gets it right or not remains to be seen, right? But what I will say is, look at that midfield, and again, it's picked a really interesting midfield, and this is what I quite like about it. I really like what it's doing in the midfield, and it's doing quite well. Salah, Willock, Mane, Harrison, and Benrahma. So Benrahma has sneaked into the algorithm. So all the things, all this little thought, these thought processes that we had in the back of our mind about Benrahma, and all of a sudden now it's been picked out. Now, would Torres be there? Absolutely, he would be there. But the rotation is that I can only have a couple of rotation players there, so that's the issue. So he doesn't make it because of rotation. But you know, if we think he's nailed, Torres would be in there probably. For who's D5? I'm just trying to see now who it is. Who's midfielder? Who's the fifth midfielder? The fifth midfielder was Benrahma, so he would replace Benrahma.
How far away is how much lower is? Wait, I'm looking. Benrahma and Harrison are the same.
Yeah.
They're
all 77. So you basically pick Harrison and Benrahma, but there is a slight difference. You could drop one or the other there. So so you might keep Benrahma, drop Harrison. If you're doing that. So that's where we are. Wood and Bamford up top. With Antonio first on the bench, sat there, waiting to come in. Interesting. Again, very interesting. It quite likes Burnley. It's obviously got two Burnley defenders sat there as well on the bench. Interestingly enough.
What I find interesting here regarding the triple, the Brighton. I feel like last week it went for triple Everton. So how many times has the Algo gone for a triple defense when it sees one defense it likes, it goes for all of them?
And this is the problem. This is going to be a thing for the close season. We've got to decide how to treat it. But this is just work in progress. I wasn't even planning on showing this for this season, but I wanted to just give it sort of like should we say, a bit of an appetite wetter for next season, so that we can look at it a bit more next season. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, if it's scoring 60 in a low scoring in a low scoring week, missing the captain, then let's see how it does this week, shall we? It'd be an interesting one. And what we'll do when we're doing the watch along is I will try and keep score of how the algorithm's actually doing. That will be my job for apart from keeping you lot in check, which I think is going to be difficult anyway. But we'll see. The only disappointment is Gabe will be drinking coffee rather than beer. But anyway, there we go.
Wait, says who?
Fair enough. That early breakfast there. Beer breakfast.
It's the last day. I think it's the last day on the beach. I got to get my party in.
Absolutely. So anyway, that's where we are. Sorry, I won't come to you on this one. I'll just keep moving. So I want to get to the questions. So we're going to move to the captaincy. We didn't do very well last week, boys. That's the first time I've had that giant red cross on the screen. We didn't get a single one right. Move on. Next. Metric got it wrong as well. It went for Salah and it blanked. First time, that's the third time it's blanked since game week 18. It's still projected for 645 points. To be fair, did we expect it to blank with Salah? No. Who's it going to go with in game week 38? We'll see. Let's have a look at the Catpick. And the Catpick this week picked Salah out by a million miles with respect to the community, as you can see. We did give it a few options. We went for, I think we gave an option for pick a West Ham player, Gabe, if I remember. And Antonio was selected over Lingard for captaincy. So that was the community. Yep. Mm-hmm. So it went down that route as well. And I think we gave another, we had Iniacho in there as well from a perspective of who else was in there, and Wood were the other options. So, yeah. But anyway, so it's gone for those anyway.
I will say, and shout to Nick Khan at Nick Khan Tweets. He was the first person that I spoke to several days ago that shouted Nacho as a captaincy shout against an awful Spurs defense, and with everything to play for and needing goals, on fire, in form. I think he's one of the best differential captaincy shouts this week.
Yeah, he's an interesting one. I've sold him, so anyway, I hope he. I wish I had. I mean, that, to be honest, I was just bang average last week, so it would have been quite nice to have had Iniacho anyway. So let's see where this cat decides to go for this week. So he's been given a choice of Salah, Mane, and Bamford. Oh God, it's on the wrong screen. Hang on, there we go. So the cat went for Salah, which wasn't really much of a surprise. I'm going to have to, we'd move the table round, so I can't have the things that in that place. And now I'm just a bit worried he's going for that first corner. He's going for the closest one at the moment. So I'm going to have to readjust that for next season as well. I think I'm going to do some European Championship picks, just if anybody wants to do it. But that'll be purely and simply for fun, because I'm not going to be doing any content at all. But if you want a cat pick or two, I might do them just for a bit of a laugh. So let's look at the metric. And unfortunately, there was a deliberate mistake on my previous slide. I tried to move across it quite quickly, but I think one person certainly spotted it. Eagle Eye Baker.
Of course. Baker don't let anything slide.
Eagle Eye Jamie. Right. Yes, it's Mo Salah. So, yeah, Salah's topped it. Quite frankly, it's Liverpool, and Firmino there looked third. So there we go. Let's quickly look at it. As always, we're saying Salah.
Bamford a close fourth, huh? Bamford a close fourth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Not far away. It's very tight again this week. There's probably four there, I think, who you've got four fairly solid metric picks, I think. So you've got Salah with 82, Mane 81, Firmino 80, then Bamford, then we've got Lingard, Antonio, and Wood, just trailing them. To put them in context, last week's metric was headed by Salah with 82, Greenwood 82, Mane 81. Similar matchups, basically. As I said, Palace have improved somewhat, but I think a home crowd's going to be critical here. I think, again, Liverpool attacking the Kop, if it's second half particularly, could be chaos. How many did Palace concede down there? Was it 6?
6, yeah, 6.
Yeah, they could easily concede 6, I think. I wouldn't be at all surprised. Although the matchup doesn't quite suggest that, but I wouldn't be surprised that there isn't the ball being sucked into the net at the Kop end of Anfield this week. Looking at the numbers. Salah, so fixture difficulty 118.4, that's good. Mane and Salah's form or returns are exactly the same. They haven't had a double-figure haul in the last 12, but they've got 6 single-figure hauls. And Mane's expected points are just slightly worse. Firmino, on the other hand, has a double return, slightly less occurrences of 1 return and lower expected points. To me, the one who is the explosive one sat there outside of Liverpool is Bamford.
Yeah.
You can see that he's got 2. He's got a good fixture, 114.5. He's had 2 occurrences of double returns in the last 12, 4 single returns. His form's not great, but now he's got Raphinha back as well. You know, so I think Bamford is a pretty solid 4th there. I really do. Just very quickly, West Ham, not such a good matchup. That's one thing it's spotted. Same with Wood, not a great matchup, oddly enough. And my notes say Sheffield United are crap, but Bramall Lane is a tough place to go. I think that's what I've been saying all night now. Guys, what's your perspective? Sorry, I'll come to you first.
I think I'd still prefer Bamford. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you going to captain? Are you going to captain a Liverpool player, or are you going to go? Are you going to go rogue?
I'm looking to go rogue. Is what my thoughts are. I have Salah. I don't have Mane. But then after looking at the matchup and after looking at the metric as well, I'm keen on doing Benteke to Bamford and probably captain him. So that's my thoughts as of the show stands. I might change because it's hard for me to bring in Mane, or I could go to the route of Mahrez to Mane, considering Mahrez is most likely not to start. So, but then my 2 options are Mane and Bamford, and it's good to see both of them dominating the metric as well, and it's got a good matchup. So it's tempting, maybe a hit too. I'm planning to go rogue because I'm going all in. I sit at 20k. I don't give a fuck if it's 50k. I would take if it's 10k. So I'm gonna go have some fun with the last game week.
What I want to know, can I catch you in the expectations league? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I think that didn't change for around 25 game weeks, and then finally just changed in the last 3 weeks. I think I have to consider that and defend my position as well. Yeah.
So forgive me for fishing for your captain. Forgive me for fishing for your captain. It's really not that I want to catch you in that league, you know.
He can always just say one thing on the show and then change it right before.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I know.
If you do that, make sure you make a video of it and you explain it to everyone.
I don't trust Surya. No. Ever since he did that differential captain of Pereira, I've never trusted him since. Gabe, I'd like your view on Iheanacho being so low.
I'm surprised he's that low. To be honest, you're the metric master. But Spurs defense is no good. So what's?
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a mistake in there. I'll have to check that. I don't think there is. It should be automatic. If there's a mistake, I'll republish it. But I think I might be wrong.
Is he on?
No, mate. There is a mistake. I found it.
There is.
I haven't updated it, have I? I found it, and then I never updated it. There we go. That's the mistake.
Let's watch Iheanacho fly.
Yes.
Fly up there.
That's the mistake. I found it because we found it, and then I've put the bloody wrong slide. I've not updated it on there because I saved it earlier in the week. There we go. He was 78, wasn't he?
He rises up to 78.
Did he rise up to 78? There we go. Sorry about that, boys. That's a end of season cock up by the Mariner. Nothing new. I've been doing them all season.
Iheanacho rises up just below Bamford. So we're talking about kind of I think it's a top 5. Salah, Mane, Firmino, Bamford, Iheanacho.
Yeah.
And
there we go.
And so I don't know what. No worries, no worries. It's good. It's good to get him in there now. Still with good time there.
I'm just gonna do. I was gonna actually do something. I was gonna draw on the screen, but now I better not. I was gonna I was gonna put.
What an arrow.
Maybe not. I won't do it now. I'll do it later.
I don't know which way I'm gonna go. I mean, I could pick Salah, Mane, Bamford, or Iheanacho. I have all those players. It's such a hard choice this game week, but I think that motivation for Leicester and Iheanacho is high, even though I don't think it's going to get them anywhere. I think the choke artist Brendan Rodgers has struck again.
Right. Okay. So let's get rid of that since it's wrong anyway. But anyway, so I think we get the drift anyway where we're going. Captain differential for me this week it's Ferran Torres for me. It has to be. I am all over this. If I get a leak, he is 100% coming in. That's if I get
easy.
the leak.
Greenwood to Ferran is so easy, so obvious. Yeah, you got to do it. That's
the
mine.
issue
is,
is, do I take
well.
a minus? The issue is, do I take a -4 to get rid of DCL? That's my big question, because I'm just wondering now, with Manchester City's defensive woes, do I actually just hope to God he returns? Tough one, right?
I think he has a good chance. It is a tough one, but
Yeah.
against what's it going to be? Ake and Eric Garcia will be on the back line. Ake, I don't know, maybe Laporte and Mendy. I don't mind DCL's chances against that back line.
No, so I'm thinking I might just, because I think there'll be a load of hits, so I might get. I think I've seen somewhere that they say the average number of hit points in the last game week is very high, something like 3.5 last year. Or I think it was on Twitter earlier on. I can't remember where I saw it, but the average hit points are quite high. So if you don't take a hit in the last game of the season, it might not be the stupidest thing to do. That might be differential in itself, not taking a hit, right? Obviously, let's hope we get some team leaks. I, for one, I pity any content creator doing a deadline stream this weekend. I absolutely pity them. There's no way on earth would I do a deadline stream this week. I am going to be bloody selfish, and I'm going to watch somebody else's deadline stream. I'm going to sit there with a piece of paper with about 4 or 5 options written down, and I'm going to wait and see what happens till literally the last seconds. I love it. I love the end of it. I love game week 38. It's one of my favorite. It's my favorite week of the year. So
I agree.
Right. Okay, there we go. Salah, and Torres. That's the choice. Community metric, Catpick or Salah, differential Torres. Over to the questions, boys. Let's see what we've got. How much stuff have we got going on in there, Gabe?
I think quite a few things.
I threw some questions there in the private chat there in StreamYard.
Okay, so here we go. So Nehal, chasing in one mini league by 5 points and leading in the other by 17. That's similar to me, actually. Very similar. Maybe I think I'm sort of like chasing by about 15 and leading by about 20. Second place has a triple captain. That could be squeaky bum time, couldn't it? Really. Who do I captain? Salah to shield the triple captain, or Mane as a sword to rise? Chasing, leading. We've got to think. Is he gonna go Salah? You would think he would. If he owns Salah, you would expect people would captain Salah, right? We're talking strategy, and I think this is where it's an interesting thing, because we don't often talk strategy for mini leagues, do we? And I think a lot of questions are
game
about
theory.
strategy.
Yeah.
Do you agree? I think he's.
I agree. And this is kind of what makes Game Week 38 fun. It's more personal. It's less, it's like your own goals and your own mini leagues, and I like that. I would say I'd go with Salah.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Sorry,
trust the rest of my
any
team.
alternate view on that or not?
No, I think I'll go Salah too.
Fair enough.
It's better with this India.
All right, another question from Nehal. Rafinha and Harrison double up. That's an interesting one. I mean, they've both got excellent numbers. Harrison has really, to me, been a fine pick now for a few weeks, quite frankly. I think it depends if you don't own Bamford. I would double. If I wanted to double on Leeds, I would double with Bamford. That would be my first choice to bring in. So I think you need at least 2 Leeds this week, if not 3. Because of course, if I didn't transfer DCL out, I would be Bamfordless.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be bringing Bamford in for a -4 if I'm making that Ferran Torres move.
I agree. I think Rafinha and Bamford is a better double up. I'm not on the Harrison bandwagon. I've seen him this season. I've seen him get pulled. I know he's done well lately, but I do very much think that is a flash in the pan.
Yeah,
I think that's value elsewhere. Even I would say Bamford over Harrison. Yeah. And
okay, we've got Cyril. I think it's Cyril Ruddin. How do we see the Leicester Spurs match go, boys? I see Leicester winning. That's my perspective.
I think, Leicester need a win. I think they need to win by 4 goals to stand a chance of qualification, considering Liverpool are about to win the game against Crystal Palace. So I think Leicester will go all in, and that's why I was very surprised seeing the metric. I think Iheanacho is far below, but then coming back to 79 is a very good option as well. And Gabe mentioned of how Vardy is hogging dragging the defense to his side. That opens him up space, and Spurs defense is all over the place. I think it has been all over the place right through the season. So I could see goals, but Spurs scoring is a tricky one. I think there's another question of keep Kane or sell Kane that comes.
Next question.
That comes close to this. I think he isn't motivated. I don't see him being much motivated there. So it could see a lot of goals, but then I see a lot of goals from Leicester and not from Spurs. Keeping in mind I have a double up of Kane and Bale like an idiot, so I'm still being.
I own Kane. I have to say that camera or that zoom in camera with I don't know why I even bother or something like that. I was like, oh Christ Almighty, here we go. I mean, look, I could just as easily sell Kane, couldn't I? But selling Kane, is that just stupid? I've just done an article for Fantasy Football Titan, and I've just put Kane as my player of the year. And then I'm selling him in game week 38 in his last game for Spurs. I mean, maybe he just wants to go out. Maybe he will shake it off and go out and do some damage. I mean, Leicester are not without injuries, right?
Yeah, I think Johnny Evans is out injured too. I think they'll probably give some minutes to Wes Morgan too. But then they do have Champions League at stake, so I don't. So it's going to be a tricky game to predict. But then I would rather see Kane not score rather than go out on a high, because anything and everything happening around him isn't going well. To be precisely speaking. But then you are pretty sure as he will be close to around 80 or 90%. I'm pretty confident of that particular fact. So it's going to be a high risk, all at stake.
Yeah, I think moving him out. My gut feel tells me to gamble somewhere else, not gamble on Kane. That's probably where Kane has something to play for. Spurs is they're still trying to get into Europe. Leicester will be coming at them, so there may be counterattacking opportunities. I think getting rid of Kane is asking for trouble, and I say this as someone that doesn't own Kane. I need the voice of reason sometimes.
Yeah,
I think.
But here, I'll throw in unless you have something in your heart that's pulling your heartstrings to tell you to go to Agüero. And if you want to do Kane to Agüero, that's a big risk, but it could also be big upside. I would consider that if you have Son, not if you have Bale, because Bale is shit, and why would you have Bale? But
Sorry.
I had to shame somebody for Bale today. I just had to do it.
And it has to be me. It
would have been Mariner as his differential captain last week, but
oh, don't you start. Oh God, he's here anyway. Look, he's making his last appearance on Net That All because he won't be at Spurs next year. So there we go. Cheerio, Gareth Bale. There's his golf clubs going back to Spain or wherever they're going to end up. Maybe he's just going to end up in the Algarve playing golf. I don't know. Who knows?
That would suit him.
Right, let's have a look, see if there's any other questions. Just looking down here. We've got, anyone fancy Watkins versus Chelsea? I'll tell you what, Watkins, he just keeps returning, right? Yeah, I know it was all to do. I know Reguilon basically just handed it on a plate to him, but I mean, you know, is he going to score against Chelsea? I think that's a tough ask, personally. I still think Chelsea defensively still look pretty solid.
Yeah, Chelsea numbers are still solid. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Here's a gamble.
Villa at home, though, and Grealish back. That could make a difference.
Grealish back. Jamie Baker. Is it Dwight McNeil time, boys? That's an interesting chat.
He's been a very good crosser, but then Burnley have been playing more of direct football for some time now. But then I think Gabe mentioned there's been a lot of headed chances considered, and they would look to go aim Chris Wood's head. He's gone now. Chris Wood's head. So I don't know. But then there's too many other midfielders to consider ahead of Dwight McNeil to my liking.
Exactly. I don't mind the shout. I don't mind the shout because of the matchup and how poor they are with headed chances conceded. But that's the opportunity cost, as Surrey is saying. If you go for McNeil, then you're giving up a spot.
Yeah, you are. And I mean, look, we've got Willock sat there in amazing form. We've got, there's other players we've been talking about tonight as well. You know, if you can get to them, Torres is of this world and players like that. There's still some very, very good differentials in that midfield as far as I'm concerned. Right, okay. Son to Ferran. Not enough money for Son to Mane. I think that is, for me, if there is a team leak, that is a yes from the Mariner.
What do you think, Surya?
I would say that is at least I'll have to go match Mariner and defend my top spot in the expectations league. So if there is a leak, I'm definitely doing it for a head.
I've just realised I've told you what I'm moving to. I've just told you the transfers I'm doing now, haven't I? I've just cocked it up now. I hope none of my league people watch my show.
It's all mind games. Yeah. Let's see.
All right. Okay. So that's that one. So do you agree, Gabe? Would you go Son to Ferran, particularly if there's a league?
If I think I would, especially if you have Kane, then I certainly would.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we've got Ragav, Son and Jota to Mane and Willock for a -4, or Son and Jota and DCL out for Mane, Willock and Bamford on a -8, benching Greenwood, or no hit. Well, Jota's got to go, right?
Yeah.
I think the third one is very tempting because all three are great options, and I think Greenwood's minutes is about to be managed as well. I think because Dan James is back for United. Mane, Willock, Bamford are all tasty options. I think if I'm chasing, I would definitely do that -8 and then just enjoy Game Week 38 as it goes.
Well, mate, it's. I mean, you really are at. I mean, you know, without sounding crude, it's shit or bust now, isn't it? You're literally, if it goes right, fantastic. If you're 50k, you might end up 80k with that move. That's the way it would go, right? That's the way it is. You know, that's a 30k move. That's a 30k, probably 20 to 30k move either way. If that goes right or wrong, I would say that's the way I would look at that type of move. Right, here's one, going out with a bang. From Jamie, if you had to describe your aim this week using a smell, how would you describe it? A smell? Fucking hell, Jamie. Where do you get these from? Have you been thinking? I reckon he's been thinking all week about these.
Jamie's quit his whatever he does during the day, go to school or have a job, and he just thinks about these deep questions for us.
How to put this in a spot? Yeah.
I know exactly what mine is. Mine's easy, so I'll let you guys think about it.
Yeah, you go first, and I'm still thinking.
I mean, it's the smell of coconuts from the beach. It's very easy. The suntan lotion, the chapstick, the trees, the coconut I'm drinking with a little rum in it, coconut water and rum, nice combination.
Mine is going to be the nose of a Vino Verde, the green wine. So green wine and green arrows.
Ooh, I like that. Vino Verde. Portuguese, lightly spizzling.
There we go. There's my bet. Come on, then, Storia. Come on, I've done mine. Gabe's done his. Come on. Yeah, you got one. You're not very good at this.
I've got nothing on the head. So
if you're coming into this strategic partnership, you're gonna have to brush your act up, mate.
I'm very glad.
Oh God, thank you, Jamie. It's always a pleasure. I really love your questions. It's been such fun this year. And I think you've been a major part of that whole success this year. So thank you so much. Right, okay. Yakdan, difficult one for you. Which combination will get more points? DCL and Rafinha or Antonio and Dean?
I think it's Antonio and Dean.
Yeah, I think I agree. Gabe, do you?
Yeah, I think.
Yep, 3 out of 3. We agree.
I was just, yeah.
What were you going to say? Are you still looking at? Are you still trying?
I was just going to bring up the comparison.
Oh, go on. Do you want to?
I was going to bring up the. Yeah, well, I'll bring up the comparison here while you guys continue if you want.
All right, well, just take the next question whilst you're looking for the comparison. Ragav, Rafinha versus Willock. That's an interesting one as well.
I would say Willock. I think I would say Willock.
Rafinha's not really hit his straps yet, has he, since he came back from injury? So whilst I think Rafinha's got a very good chance of getting some returns this week. I think Willock, in the form that Willock's in against a team who are down, Willock.
Yeah.
I think we've already answered this Leicester Spurs question there. Bruno and Kane to Mane and Bamford for a -4, or just one of those moves. Well, I
think Bruno to Mane would do. I feel. I'm still not sure of removing Kane. I think
that's again that same question. Do you own Son, right? Do you own Son? If you own Son, maybe you can cover it.
Yeah.
I'm still. I can't. I think it depends on mini leagues. I think it depends on it. There's so many factors here, which I think if you look at it in isolation, you would do Bruno, Mane. If there's anything else in the background to shall we say, to cloud that judgment, then that second move might be on. I think that's the way, are you chasing something, has somebody else got Kane? Are you chasing somebody who owns Kane and you want to go away from Kane to try and pull that, to try and close that gap. Gabe, I've just seen your screen pop up again. Shall I just put your screen up?
Yeah, it's interesting results here. And fantasyfootballhub.co.uk, you can compare, groups of players and combinations of players, and the stats here favor Calvert-Lewin and Rafinha. If we look at expected points, well, that's what really matters, right? We're looking for points. Expected points is about the same. So if you have to bend over backwards for one or the other, I'd say go whichever direction's easiest. But we look on the red side, much higher. The XG per game start for the duo there. Well, I mean, one is a midfielder and a forward, and the other is a defender and a forward. So it's a little bit tough to compare. You have to compare like some defensive stats, and these are all attacking stats. So it's obvious that from an attacking perspective, it'll favor the midfielder and the forward. But I have to say, Dean going up against Man City, I think I'm going to change my response and go with Calvert-Lewin and Rafinha.
I'm just looking at the fixture difficulty here. So Everton's fixture difficulty for attack is negative. For defence is more balanced. And West Ham is positive for attack there. So, and Leeds is positive for attack. So you're almost looking at probably I would probably say, I'm just trying to work the numbers out. It's extremely close on fixture difficulty. It's extremely close. Yeah. I think the combinations.
But with the Manchester City, with the absences on the back line, I think favors Calvert-Lewin a little bit more than we might think. And Manchester City is not going to have any problem going attacking, which is a ding on Dean. But it's really close. And I think, when you're comparing players from kind of a defender with a forward and then a midfielder with a forward, the stat to look at, it's hard to compare them because it involves defensive stats, but just expected points. And it's just so close, so close. So expected points, there it is, 4.91 on the blue side and 4.81 on the red side.
Yeah,
it's almost exactly the same. So go the path of least resistance.
And for me, that would be Calvert-Lewin and Rafinha. To be honest, again, it'd be interesting to say because, like you say, is Calvert-Lewin, but then again, is Dean going to get those chances to cross because of the weak side of the weak side of the Manchester City defence? It's a good question, actually. It's a good question, that one. That's one that really gets us thinking a bit. Right, okay. All right, let's have a quick look. So there's just a couple more, I think, and then we'll get out of here. We've had the Rafinha or Torres question, haven't we? Question: which teams are already beach teams? Well, we did that earlier. Nearly all of them is the answer to that. And then let's have a look. I think that's it. I think we're done. I think we are done, boys. So, okay, that is that, everybody. That is the FPL season done and dusted when it comes to the matchup show and the Compass show. I think we can all say that we've only been going now for 18 weeks. I think we've done 18 weeks shows.
We started at game week 20, so this is our 19th episode.
So it's our 19th week. Well, it's been to me, it's been 19 weeks of pure pleasure. I look forward to this show more than anything else in the entire week. When it comes to I just can't stand getting up at the crack of dawn to do the Compass show. There might be a change there, guys, actually, because that might actually go west.
Yeah, we're working on some logistical changes. The logistical changes, what I'm excited about for them is, I think we're going to be able to target different time zones a little bit better, because we do pride ourselves on the fact that we are a global show. From Asia to the Americas to Europe. We don't have any African representation yet, but as far as kind of spanning the globe in different time zones, we're going to make a concerted effort to kind of do that even better next season.
Absolutely. And we'll see you both on the watch-alongs on Sunday evening. Singapore time, so Sunday afternoon in the UK. We're going to start half an hour before. So if you could all, I think that's a good time to give us a chance just to have a look at the team news, one or two last minute, probably a bit of swearing perhaps if people have gone wrong, if there haven't been the team leaks, and then we're gonna just watch along and abuse people. I think that's generally what I'm doing.
Well,
I did have fun. You said abuse people. Yeah.
I'm gonna hold you to that because I'm going to continue abusing you about Bale. Anybody and everybody.
I'll make sure. Actually, the golf club will make another appearance next week.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take him out for a hit and then come for the watch along because I can't take this anymore.
Okay. If you do that, then I'll let up a little bit. I'll ease off.
So anyway, as I said before, smash that like button. We answered your questions without telling you to smash the like button, unlike some people. But anyway, we love them really. We're only joking. You know us. We like to have a laugh. Yeah. So that's it. Thanks, boys. So I'll just get us out of here and then we can all bugger off. You can go to work, Gabe. Sorry, you can go to bed. I'm going to have to go back to work now. I've got to work. I've got more emails to do.
Yeah.
So yes, we are Net That Hole. So yeah, we are Net That Hole. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please hit the bell for future notifications. We will be back on Sunday with the watch along. You'll find Surrey at allaboutfpl.com and also All About FPL on Twitter. Gabe at FPLLens. Gabe, you putting your article up this week?
Article will go up either tonight or tomorrow, and it will be up on allaboutfpl.com as well. Of course, the matchups article, the home of the matchups articles.
Super job, job. And and I think, boys, that is it. So until Sunday, everybody, see you soon. Cheers. All the best.
Nos vemos en la playa.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you craving more FPL content? Then look no further than allaboutfpl.com. Head over there for weekly articles from some of the top content creators on the planet. So what are you waiting for? Head over to allaboutfpl.com, the website for all your FPL needs.